Alright, what's up people? My name is WestRoadSal and now you see me. So today we're doing a wrestling review again, just to get this out of the way, you know, because I like to watch wrestling and you should know if you should watch the wrestling too. So today we're doing an old school TNA pay-per-view, Lockdown 2005, April 24th to be exact. Now this is one of the much better TNA pay-per-views. Back then, they used to put so much older talent in the main event, and they did here too, but it wasn't the actual main event. It was like the second match. So let's get started, shall we? The beginning of the pay-per-view sounds like a horror movie, so you can look at it again. The beginning of the pay-per-view sounds like a horror movie. Every match in a steel cage, every match on this card is in a steel cage, a six-sided steel cage to be exact. Kevin Nash can't compete. He has a staph infection. He was supposed to be in the Lethal Lockdown match, along with DDP, Sean Waltman. BG James takes his place versus Jeff Jarrett, Monty Brown, and Kip James. I don't know why they were changing Monty Brown heel, but that's for another video. That was fast. The first match was Chris Candido and Lance Hoyt versus Sonny, Siaki, and Apolo. Unfortunately, this is the match where Chris Candido breaks his leg, which downward spiral and he passes away. Eventually, yeah, it really does. So it ends up being Lance Hoyt versus Sonny, Siaki, and Apolo. This actually works quite well, 2-on-1. Believe it or not, for a little while they cut it short, but obviously you know why. It wasn't bad. Sonny, Siaki, and Apolo won with the double team move. 1, 2, 3, it's over. The match wasn't terrible. 2.5 through 3 out of 5. But the Naturals come out after the match, which Lance Hoyt did alone, and beat up Lance Hoyt. The beatdown afterwards was sluggish in my opinion, because they couldn't do all the moves that they wanted, because obviously it was inside a steel cage. So I gave it a 2.5 through 3 out of 5. Now, Dusty Rhodes, there's a stigma now. Dusty Rhodes is backstage with Trinity and picks Jeff Jarrett and Sean Waltman for first in Lethal Lockdown. Now, I know back then they must have cared, but I just want to get to the matches, you know, the stupid segment anyway. So now we had a Dustin Rhodes versus Bobby Roode. Dustin Rhodes versus Bobby Roode was going to start at first, but then it slowed down sort of, and believe it or not, this was a Prince of Darkness match. First, it was a 2 out of 3 falls, 2 out of 3 pinfall match, and then, believe it or not, it was a great match for 2 out of 3 pinfalls. It was a great match. They were doing great spots, technical wrestling. It was good, you know, 2 out of 3, hype it up, and then the last gimmick of the match was that they had put hoods over their heads. You heard me, a match with hoods over their heads. I don't know where they got that from, but it just slowed the match down. The crowd was watching, and the wrestlers were walking the opposite ways in the ring. The ref took numerous bumps. I think he took a pile driver, if I remember correctly. I gave it a 3.5 through 4 out of 5. This match would have come close to a 5 if it wasn't for that last stupid gimmick, which I had no idea about either, because the commentators just didn't talk about it. I'll be right back. Seagulls barking. Let me see what. Hey, what's up? It's me, WestRoadSal. I'm back. The camera's on the tripod, but it's not latched in, so you might fall any second now. Just be careful. Put your arms on your chairs, wherever you are. You won't fall. So we were up to the Dustin Rhodes Bobby Roode match. Like I said, it was a good match, great pace, but then the hoods over the heads ruined everything. It just ruined everything. But for this match before the hoods, I gave it a 3.5 through 4 out of 5. Now, we had Bentley versus Sonjay Dutt versus Chris Sabin versus Shocker in an X Division escape match. The first to be eliminated was Sonjay Dutt. The second to be eliminated was Bentley. So it turned out to be Chris Sabin versus Shocker. It was pretty good. They just, it was an escape match, but it wasn't a 4-way. They started out as like a tag team, and then after the tag team, it turned out to be triple threat, you know. But still, it was weird the way they did it. They could have just did a 4-way, but maybe they thought that the 4 people couldn't get like good spots in because they were in a cage. But hey, they should have did it a 4-way. The tag team kind of slowed things down, but there was great spots from all 4 of them combined as well. They did like top turnbuckle things where they would all latch onto each other and do a big a suplex off top rope. You know what I mean. You've seen it probably if you're watching this video and watching TNA. 3.5 out of 5. Because in the beginning, believe it, like in the triple threat and stuff like that, even though it was elimination, people were breaking up pins. I wouldn't break up pins. If someone's gonna get eliminated, I couldn't care less. You know, if I'm the match. It was weird. They did good spots, but it seemed like sometimes the wrestlers were confused. So like that's why I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Now, the next match was Jeff Hardy versus Raven in the steel cage. This match turned out to be a blood fest. Raven's got a crimson mask halfway through the match. Blood everywhere. Multiple tables. The weapons were in the ring, considering that they couldn't get out. Considering all the matches on the card were in a steel cage. So I thought that was funny that they actually put the weapons in the cage before the match got started. The finishing move was Jeff Hardy put Raven through like 2 tables and then 2 tables on top of that stacked up, but it turned out that they did the move and only 2 of the tables got to be broken. So because of that sloppy ending, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I think if that spot went perfect, it was close to getting a 5 out of 5. It really was. It was slow though. I mean, it was methodical. It was weapons. You know, it was brawly kind of, but it was nice. You know, it was a nice match. So that's the story of it. America's Most Wanted versus Team Canada. They're always having matches. These two. They had a feud for I don't know how long. Chris Harris can't get in because Team Canada comes out with everybody, and they pull Chris Harris out before he can actually get in. So James Storm is in there all by himself for like the first 20 minutes of the match. If it went half an hour, I'm not even sure. But they hyped Chris Harris going into the cage for so long. It slowed the match down, in my opinion. It really did. So he finally gets in, and they just go nuts. But Team Canada interferes as well. They go at it for like the longest time. Sharpshooters, elbow drops on the top rope, spears, Canadian Destroyer, Eric Young interferes. But they end up winning. You know, it's a strap match to top it all off. A strap match inside the steel cage. I give it a 3.5 through 4 out of 5. Now, how many matches do we have? We have Christopher Daniels versus Elix Skipper. Now they're coming off their feud because they were a tag team. But then Chris Daniels turned on Elix Skipper at the pay-per-view before this, I think. So stay tuned. We're going to start with that match review in... No. I don't know what I'm doing for. Okay, I'm back for the second time. Now this match was good as well. They were doing great storytelling, you know. Crowd was feuding with chants. There were gut-wrench suplexes. It's same exact size, same exact shape. Both have bald heads. It's crazy that there's when you compare them. You know, just different color skin, but that doesn't matter because they're still the same athletic shape, the same bald head shape. You know, it's crazy. It really is. It's a bit odd when you see them. They could be twins. They could be fraternal twins. You know, great chemistry. You can tell they had past history just by watching the match. You know, just by watching the match, you can tell that there's been a feud brewing, you know. So I gave it a 3.5 through 4 out of 5. Christopher Daniels wins, though. They were always putting Christopher Daniels over Elix Skipper. That's why Elix Skipper ended up going in the Diamonds in the Rough, which never got anywhere with Simon Diamond, you know. So the second to last match was the Lethal Lockdown match, which was full of, I don't know what you want to call it, ex-WWE talent back then. I mean, I know they were doing it to get fans, but it was a sloppy Lethal Lockdown match. It really was. I mean, there was good spots, but it seemed like they were all tired by the 7th minute. It was Sean Waltman, BJ James, and DDP versus Jeff Jarrett, Monty Brown, and Kip James. I don't know where you want to put Monty Brown in this match because if you took Monty Brown out and put another old guy in it, it would have been much better because you know Monty Brown could do better. You just ask yourself why he was in this match. I don't know. There was a couple spots. Sean Waltman's kicks are always nice to see the way he gets them up. They would do this thing in these matches where they're all down. 2 people would fight, and then 2 people would fall, and then 2 people would get up. You know, I don't know if that's the right kind of pacing you want to do this match, or you just want to go all out. I mean, they usually do this kind of thing, but they could have done better. They were in a steel cage. They did use the steel cage, but it was slower than you would think. It was crazy pin out of nowhere by Sean Waltman. He just does a quick pin out of nowhere on Jeff Jarrett. Not even finishers, no nothing. 1, 2, 3. I had to rewind it because I wasn't sure, but it turned out to be a quick pin. So I give it a 3 out of 5. It was fun, but it was sloppy. The last match was AJ Styles versus Abyss. Now this was amazing. The moves were executed perfectly. The thumbtacks came into play. But even with the thumbtacks, AJ Styles got it too. Even, you can tell. I mean, I know Abyss has that thing on, and they probably don't go into his body. But even with the thumbtacks, still got it too. That surprised me, and I've been watching him for a long time. The moves were executed perfectly. It was clean. There was no dirty tactics, no heels, no managers. It was just Abyss versus AJ Styles. Clean match. It was fantastic. There was blood. Not too much, though. I mean, it was bloody, but not like the Raven versus Jeff Hardy match, where Raven's face was covered in blood. AJ Styles goes nuts with his flipping moves. I mean, they start outside the ring. They actually do. A lot of these matches started outside the ring. I don't know why'd you want to have that they locked down when most of these matches started outside of the lethal lockdown. But it was a good match. Styles Clash after the thumbtack, still a 2. AJ Styles ends up winning, but after he pulls off crazy moves, crazy spots, you know, thumbtacks comes out. 5 out of 5, I had to give it. It was just, there was nothing bad to say about this match. It really wasn't. Abyss, actually, for a big man, did his stuff perfectly. So, thanks for watching. This was I would say this was one of TNA's much better pay-per-views of this time period, 2004-2005. So, thanks for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, and be on the lookout for more TNA pay-per-view reviews, because I got about 4 of them left or so. One is really rare, so look out for Sacrifice. Look out for Unbreakable. So, thanks for watching. Like I said, subscribe, and see you later. Peace. Peace, that's better.